Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Can Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.4, codename Ootpa, be configured as a daily driver workstation? Would you even want to? Today, we'll be taking a closer look at this possibility. RHEL uses a subscription model for support, so as an alternative, I encourage you to consider Virtuoso, Rocky Linux, Alma Linux, and others if you don't want or need that. Pretty much everything I cover here is directly applicable to those other distros. I'll be setting up a customized workstation, upgrading to the latest mainline stable kernel, and do some theming. By the way, if you find these videos useful, please consider supporting this channel by hitting that like button and subscribing. So let's get started. All right, let's install Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.4. Let it come up. Can't find a floppy. No floppy on this KVM that we're installing on today. Starting the Anaconda installer. And here's the welcome screen for the Anaconda. So we're English, we'll continue. And first thing is let's set up the networking and the host name. So let's turn on Ethernet. Let it get this IP via DHCP. And for the host name today, we'll use Ootpa1 and hit apply. Done. Next, let us partition our drive, which is 256 gigs. Let's click Custom Storage Configuration. Click Done. I'm going to choose the standard partitioning scheme. So let's add the boot EFI partition. We'll make that 500 megabytes. And next, we'll add the /boot partition. We'll give that 1 gigabyte. It's too small, in my opinion, for XFS, so we'll use ext4. Next, we'll set up the swap partition. I'll give it 8 gigabytes. And add that mount point. Next, we'll add the root partition. Let's give it 64 gigabytes. Lots of small files here, so ext4 is probably more appropriate than XFS. Next, we'll add the data partition that I like to use for large files such as virtual machines, Steam games, etc. So XFS is appropriate here, in my opinion at least. Let's add the home partition, and that'll be the rest of the drive. So 55 gigabytes should do the trick. Lots of small files here again, so we'll go back to ext4 and hit Update Settings. Click Done. So these are the summary of changes that Anaconda is about to perform. We'll accept those changes. Next, let's set up the time and date. So network time is switched on, and we're in Pacific Time, US. That's Los Angeles. Click Done. And let's see, that looks good. Software selection. So we'd like to install a workstation today. We'd like the Internet Applications Packages, Headless Management, GNOME, Remote Desktop Clients, Backup Client, Office Suite and Productivity, System Tools, RPM Development Tools, Development Tools for Basic, Security Tools, Container Management, such as for Podman, Graphical Admin Tools, and I'll skip the network servers and .NET development since I'm not be doing that with this workstation. Click Done. Let's give root a password. Let's enter it once. And enter it twice. Click Done. And let's give ourselves an account. My name's Steven. I'd like to be administrator. And I'd like to use my password for this one. Enter it again. And click Done. All right. Security policy, we don't have one established here. That's for organizations that have it defined. Let's begin installation. So now it's creating the partitions. It'll download and install a bunch of packages. And this will take quite some time. So we'll edit out most of this. And we'll be back when this is done. And it's complete. So now, all that remains is to reboot the system. Let's do that now. All right, it's coming back up again. We'll choose the first entry for boot up. Here it's coming up. All right, let's check out the license information, read all this stuff, and click Accept, and click Done. Good, let's finish the configuration. All right. There's my account. Let's enter the password and sign in. There's our desktop. And let's get through the welcome configuration. Let's click Next. Yes, English language, English keyboard. Next. Location services, let's keep that on. I won't connect any online accounts at this time, so I'll skip that. And we're ready to go. So have a nice, helpful getting started window here, where we can learn about how to do basic things with our new workstation. Strongly encourage you to look at that more closely. Let's open a terminal. Let's make it bigger. Full screen. So let's do sudo nano etc dnf.conf. And let's enter a password. What I like to do here is in the configuration file for DNF, set the max parallel downloads equal to 10. That tends to speed things up a little bit. We'll write that out. Next, we'll sudo dnf check-update. See if there are any updates. Since these packages were freshly downloaded, it shouldn't need any, but you never know. So it's checking the different streams, the base OS, app stream. Looks like that's done. So let's do a sudo dnf upgrade. See if there are any packages to upgrade. Nothing to do. So we're up to date. Next, let's exit out of terminal. Let's launch software. Let's go shopping. So you can also check for updates using the Updates tab in Software. It says it's up to date, but if you want to refresh, you just click the refresh button. There it is, looking for new updates. And it's up to date, as we expected. So we can go ahead and close Software. And let's open up another terminal, make it a bigger font and full screen. So let's sudo dnf install no GPG check https://dl.fedora project.org/pub/epl release-latest. That's for the extended packages for Enterprise Linux. And we enter a password again. It looks good. So EPL is a prerequisite for installing RPM Fusion. The mirror I like to use is Princeton's math department's mirror. So we do sudo dnf install https://mirror.math.princeton.edu/pub/rpmfusion/free/el for Enterprise Linux /rpmfusion-release-8.noarch. .rpm, and also the non-free version, which is https://mir.math.princeton.edu/rpm-fusion-non-free/el/rpm-fusion-release-8.noarch.rpm. And we'll look for typos. I don't see any, so just hit enter. Let it do its thing. So what we're doing here is installing the RPM Fusion free and non-free repositories. So we agree to that. We hit yes. And it's done. So Fusion is taken care of. Let's clear the screen. And next, let's sudo dnf-y, so it doesn't ask us all the time, install https://www.elrepo.org, Enterprise Linux Community Repo, -elrepo-release-8.el8.elrepo.noarch.rpm, and hit enter. So this is the repository for the latest stable mainline kernels. So we need this repository. That's done. Let us clear the screen. Next, let's sudo rpm --import https://www.elrepo.org/rpm-gpg-el-repo.org. Hit enter. So now the key is imported. Next, we sudo dnf --disable repo equals *. That's disabling temporarily all the other repos. And we want to just enable, for this search, the repo elrepo-kernel. And we want to list what's available. And we're going to pipe it to grep kernel dash mainline or dash ml and hit enter. So as you can see, got a bunch of mainline packages here. 5.13.1 is the most recent mainline stable kernel. So we do a sudo dnf -- allow erasing for substitution if necessary, -- enable repo equals el repo -- kernel, and we want to install the kernel -ml package and hit enter. Again, allow erasing allows it to replace packages because we're upgrading the kernel. Yep, looks good. We're installing the kernel itself, the cores, and the modules. So we'll let that download. As of the recording of this video, 5.13.1 is the latest at kernel.org for the mainline stable kernel. To repeat myself. Good, it's running the scriptlets. Let that do its thing. All right, and it's done. So let's clear the screen, and let's hit up arrow, and let's add curly braces, the devel package, and the headers package for the upgraded kernel, and hit enter. And yes, devel and headers are being installed, and the old headers need to be removed, otherwise there's a conflict. So we'll hit yes here. That's the reason we have allow erasing option on the command line. So we let it install. Okay, and it's done. So we have the new latest stable mainline kernel installed. Let's clear the screen. Let's do a sudo dnf repo list just to review what repositories we've installed here. So we've got the el repo, epel, the basic RHEL 8, and RPM Fusion, both free and non-free. So that's what we need to get us this far. Let's clear the screen. And let's reboot this thing and boot into the new kernel. There it is, 5.13.1. 4.18 is still there in case we need it, also the rescue kernel. So let's load 5.13.1. Yeah, okay, let's log in as Steven. And my password. There we go, we're back with the new kernel. So let's launch the terminal. Bigger font. Full screen. Let's check with the uname -a. There it is. And this is how much disk we've used. So everything looks good. So let's clear the screen. Next, sudo dnf check update. So let's check for new packages or updated packages. And let's upgrade any upgradables. But there aren't any, so that's good. So let's clear the screen and let's sudo dnf install breeze -icon -theme and oxygen -icon -theme and gnome -tweaks and hit enter. You can see where this is going. We're going to be doing a little bit of theming and customization, just a little. Tastes may vary. I like things a little darker, easier for my eyes. So we accept yes for all the GPG keys. Yes to everything, and let these themes and the tweaks utility install. And it's done. So let us clear the screen. Or rather, let's just launch tweaks that we just installed. Let's choose the Adwaita Dark. Let's choose the Breeze-Dark icons. And that looks good. So for power, if you install the workstation on a laptop, you want to check these. Also enable the battery percentage. Again, for laptops. On the Windows, I'd like to enable the maximize and minimize buttons. Cool. Those are off by default. All right. Let's launch Firefox. And let's go ahead and type in extensions.gnome.org. Hit enter. Let's make this a little bigger so you guys can read it a little easier. There we go. So let's install the browser extension for Firefox for the GNOME extensions. So let it download and verify. And let's add it. Let's allow it to run in private windows. Okay, we got it. So let's reload the page. There we go. So first thing I'd like to do is install and enable user themes. Yep, let's install it. And then I like to install the applications menu. That's done. Next, one of my more favorite extension is Dash to Panel, which has been recently updated. So I'll turn that on. Let's install. Okay. All right. So got a good basic set of extensions installed. So let's clear the screen. And let's right-click on the panel and click on Dash to Panel Settings. And let's move that to the top. There we go. All right. Starting to look a little customized here. Okay. Another thing we can do is sudo the DNF search Roboto. So I like those Roboto fonts. We have RHEL currently installed. So Google Roboto fonts is available with sudo DNF install. Now I'll copy paste here Google Roboto fonts and hit enter. And hit yes and let that install. It's done. So let's go back to Tweaks tool. As you can see, we now have a shell for user theming available. So you can just download and select your themes from here. And for the fonts, So as you can see, we have RHEL. So let's replace RHEL bold with Roboto bold. And let's knock up the font size a little bit. Same with the interface. Roboto regular, 12 points. For the document, let's do also Roboto regular, 12-point font. And for the monospace, let's just stick with monospace and knock it up one. There we go. Most of us use LCD screens instead of grayscale, especially for laptops and modern monitors. So we'll use the subpixel for LCD. Good. All right. Another thing we can do is sudo DNF search the GCC toolset version 10. So if you need a more modern toolset for development, this is what you have available. A whole bunch of these for your perusal. We won't be covering that here in this video to keep the video relatively short. But yeah, it has all the latest tool sets. So here are some of the apps we have installed. Bunch of utilities in here, the standard stuff, nothing too surprising. All the usual GNOME default apps that we're used to. Oh yes, by the way, Flatpak is available. So if you want to install KDN Live or OBS Studio or the usual suspects using Flatpaks, you can do it. Flatpak is already available to use on this RHEL workstation install. Let's see, what else? Let's clear the screen. So yeah, it's using 1.2 gigs, roughly, of RAM. No swap being used yet. Yeah, so there we go. So that is a basic RHEL 8 Ootpa workstation install. I find RHEL, or its many free derivatives, make a fine developer workstation and daily driver with native Podman containerization, server technologies like free IPA, and the latest toolsets. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. If so, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.